shunu changme gi chapshu de mande sigyon lopsan senge cholia chamji tas le shu yu ta chapji diga phe be mima da shuge chang lo lia chamji tas le ani Quran ye roba dala sani wheel ne re Quran thada de tharing gi jerim de changma inge tolma jogre an thali de sigyon chone mixi ki shige chola tuje de nang che de chab de la ning thaban le tuje chena shige yin an thari ningo de mixi ki da shige chola yindu shige cho chiwo khang mama gyoro nang ya chiwo di phege thola kisi dewu meba ina monju dene ma thanda shugu tamgi anti du chiwo di chama ma yikto thola gyone ge jigire an monju sikyon sungshe na we kapla chiwo di ge chama ya du che an thama de la chiwo khama ma le gya chwe gi sikyon chone rewan chigi no an tering ki da zerim di dodi ju shuba ina thango de europe shinu thunzo ki goji Tende da pamo Quran ni ne sigyon chola gasu songshe nangyu anni batela sigyon chone songshe nangyu subatela manzo tiwo chile da joli na trishna
Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Tibetan Youth Association in Europe, we would like to welcome and thank you all for attending this unique opportunity to meet Sigyon Losang Sengela. Thank you very much. First of all, I would like to introduce ourselves. On my right here, I have my good friend Tenzin Deje from the TYE section Chilsung from Zurich. And my name is Dalawande. I'm from the section Nyalung in Wil. We have a couple of information for all of you. As the program this morning was a public talk for everyone, the program this afternoon is especially made and organized for the youth. So we kindly request the Tibetan youth to maybe step forward and sit on one of the front rows, and so they can benefit from this unique opportunity to meet and see Sigyon Losang Sengela. Also, you've been given some piece of paper to make some notes and write some questions, which we will collect after the talk, and while we organize ourselves, we have prepared some questions of our own from specific section members, and we will ask them later on to Sigyon Losang Sengela. This event has been organized by two associations. One of them is the TYE, Tibetan Youth Association in Europe, and the other one is the Tibetan community in Switzerland, Liechtenstein. To your program. The first program will be, we will ask the two presidents of the TYE to the stage. There will be Tende and Palmo. They will hold a quick welcome speech. The second part of our program will be a talk by our Sigyon Losang Sengela. And after the talk, as I said before, we will collect questions you wrote down, and then we will have a quick Q&A session. So I would say that's it, and welcome Tende and Palmo.
Europe shuni tunzo sapshune samjitashne thara terin kande Sigyon Losang Sengela mixe do bebe shengela korona thara beri sista Liechtenstein beri miman sopaya koragina wa ning thapa ne tuji she shichoji Nering pepe nashe mangbuji de la leva. Tenang len chini de la leva ngansuyang kasu chongsu. Kai sena tenju gi pepe jitsu joda di mangzu inga cham. Mangzu nang la top down jipu member yang legi pea tang mangzu ki joda nang la nyamshu chewa ke chimbu jigi ewa cham tering ki joden taarang chari chibare. Ganzi the chongpa kor la chus chik ngoden nang warina Europe peri shuni tunzo jitong gupya tunju lor Swiss la tsubare. Tanda parto chongmi shitya las sane ki chochun nang la legi begi yore. Sane ki chochun Swiss nang la gu thamba yoba cham jik Germany la jik Austria ani jik Netherlands la yore. Sane ki chochun jik pu member yang legi ruga ki tsubare. Kain sina nganzi choshi ki jami yoba cham taarang nganzi chongmi yang ruga taarang nala legi beya kogab dawo tsubare. Ente yinzang Europe peri shuni tunzo mixe siteng ki jizo ki tang rikshung ki legi begi yore. Pena pe jisha chu chawa ina nganzi the pepe jizo la kandes pen duku yore sinis susu samlo chukor chenita pendo jik rawa kari yore sina nashek jik pu member yang mixe yang nganzi Peutu, chung lo chung ki peutu la peutu to la pepe lokyu pepe nedang kor la lokjung te ai ngondi rewa chimbu chik di ende inzang lota reshi tenka ki lapta khonse kapsu pu chung ju ne khash pu chung ju nyam de duda chik reng la de tuje nyam de ke chik re di member yang onze sa dawa bonda dakpa reshini shepe seyagi legung jitsu wayore ani dinala nganzi beripino tsola rokpa chiya tapshi tanggore ente inzang da jizo tola legi beya yang shenpa ka kari yore sena nganzi mixi sane tsokchung ka ki da zemu ki tenduri nare yang da dujen rawi nare ente chini jari chigi yore dingara nganzi kowa nashi rikshung ke kya 아니 베베 릭쇼디 몰라베 탑시다야 게치무츠 닝안지 로다레시니 진단 니와 나라 비티베스야디 두젠 츠우요레 다랑 안지 릭쇼게 로가 조체니 군제양 양시 베베 릭쇼도라 삽종 당 남지 고라 삽종 데데 자리치요레 타타마디 잡시기레규레 Pena chashawa ina chisi thola peshawa chingina momolo tinta thamu nangla jana ki sinji suisa ledi kapsu nganzi bebe shenge tso tende jana tang suis nyamdula jewa yewa tang jana ki sinji di tho korla khari nganzi samche khari yewa di seu chini shewere nganzi ki ngogo chiya di zamli kawak kyasala kyapdere ente inzang de ngogo chiya ki chapsi lega che pu member yang nyamti jatsura loda reshni lola tengwa shis togore chapsi lega seya di nyamti jatsura tawa ina ta nyamti jatsu ki legong mixe legong che pu ni member yang yaga mangmuji ki kuzap nyamde chongdu tsu che pöden tola moje teya che ene tini nganzu chapsi lega chodegiore that chisi chikpu member yang nangsi yeke chimbuchi wa chan mixe du nashön gi nganji nashön zogi nganji mangzo na nyamshu cheya ke chimbuchi wa chan longing la nganji gi ösho korla chashim chevere vote ki campaign se yache Dede nganzi mixeda tangbo di dire bebe nashu tsoda shunge tsoda mune tona leyange nye nenge di ke chumbore nga pe zenjo ki pemi imba tsam inji minji da tangbo memdi nyamshu chego dus di
sowa di lea di kechi mutsi yes di sowa di chipu me lea chipu member tam shula yang ge sam ti pa ti kechi shea ani tama di yang nyam shu chia nyam de lea chia on de ana kechi mutsi chi di yang yar ke ta gyundu nganzi chapsi da nangsi da chi signature thola legi begori tingara de ring shoge nganzi anesi yon choki kamena wale bebeke rikshu taharang jaga ki logu changma sheba bebesi kinchumure nanti taharang inde kechi butsi chini danda bharu legi dinzi changma la jadegi ta nye ke ki nyamyu dawjik she shurchuna ngarai pame kaji ki lochung ni spill after la tam che ngogo inare ngogo kawa kasale nyamdo chi chini lochung ni kaji chimure samgiyo ine yang zo di pöder tola legu peya di sorwa zo di kaji chasu sena yoro pöri shunni tunzo nara zuni chini ngarangi bebe ngogo bebe logu bebe rikshung ondi changma tola lochung pe misi mambu rasu ene yin sang bebe rikshung ke dindu changma nyara pe misi kenju bure nganzi ya di pe kechi mutsi ine taharang siden tola siden ki lamga chipu memba yang chokwa na la juya topdang di chipu yesini samlo da matang chipu chene yang mune legi pe ya din pe misi kechi mutsi tsema ke chipu tsi ine yin sang maungga la yang shunu na la yang na chokwa ka la mang shege mangro nyamshu china nganzi yawa di zawujik di inde songza de tering ki joleng la nganzi chongmi la kaptu chik taharang tagya la kawa kasa chapta chere ani mikse shenge tso la tering chiwa chiro chi ani inde seda chivare inde inza tering ki joleng di yapo yongwa rawa ye tuchino
Also ich werde euch auch noch kurz ein paar Worte auf Deutsch sagen. Im Namen des Vereins Tibeter Jugend in Europa möchten wir euch ganz herzlich begrüßen. Wir freuen uns sehr, dass wir heute die Möglichkeit haben und dass sich unser Sigeung Zeit genommen hat, um zu den jungen Tibeterinnen und Tibetern in der Schweiz zu sprechen und auch vor allem, dass wir die Möglichkeit haben, Fragen zu stellen. Bei diesem Vortrag und dem anschließenden der Fragerunde sollen deshalb auch vor allem die Jungen die Möglichkeit erhalten, zu Wort zu kommen. In einer Demokratie ist der Austausch essentiell. Deshalb ist es wichtig, dass wir uns einbringen, dass wir kritisch Fragen stellen und mit Respekt auch unterschiedliche Argumente austauschen können. Das alles gehört zu einer gut funktionierenden Demokratie. Das ist auch das Ziel des VTT. Deshalb haben wir beispielsweise vor 2 Jahren, als die tibetischen Wahlen stattgefunden haben, eine Kampagne lanciert namens Vote, die den Meinungsbildungsprozess von jungen Tibeterinnen und Tibetern unterstützen sollte. Da vielleicht nicht alle unseren Verein kennen, möchten wir ihn auch noch ganz kurz vorstellen. Der Verein Tibeter Jugend in Europa wurde 1970 in der Schweiz gegründet. Heute haben wir mehr als 400 Mitglieder, davon sind die meisten in den Sektionen aktiv. 9 Sektionen sind in der Schweiz, eine in Holland, eine in Deutschland und eine in Österreich. Wir haben daneben aber auch viele Arbeitsgruppen, die sich spezifisch mit Themen auseinandersetzen. Der VTT arbeitet auf verschiedenen Ebenen, um das politische Bewusstsein der tibetischen Jugend zu stärken und den Zusammenhalt unter den jungen Tibetern im Exil zu fördern. Die gewaltsame Besetzung Tibets durch die Volksrepublik China darf nie in Vergessenheit geraten. Und so sind wir stets bemüht, das Anliegen des tibetischen Volkes im Westen zu vertreten und sich für ein freies Tibet einzusetzen. Seit der Gründung hat der VTT es sich zum Ziel gesetzt, einen Ort zu schaffen, wo sich junge Tibeterinnen und Tibeter austauschen können, sich treffen und gemeinsam erstreben wir auch die Pflege und der Erhalt unserer Kultur, Sprache und Religion. Der VTT ist vor allem auf 3 Ebenen aktiv. Das eine ist das politische, das Soziale und das Kulturelle. Ein Beispiel für kulturelle Aktivitäten ist unsere Arbeitsgruppe Rikshow, die jugendgerechte Antworten zu Fragen rund um die Kultur sucht. Oder der Anlass wie Tibet, der bald am 10. Februar in Zürich stattfindet. Soziale Aktivitäten ist beispielsweise Shempen die Anlaufstelle für unsere tibetischen Landsleute, die ihr sicherlich kennt, oder das Kinderlager, in dem tibetische Kinder ihre tibetische Identität eine Woche lang näher gebracht wird. Dazu gehören viele Sportanlässe, die auch durch unsere Sektionen organisiert werden. Aber ganz wichtig ist vor allem auch das Politische. Dazu gehören Protestaktionen wie vor einem Jahr. Nur zu gut ist es uns noch in Erinnerung, als uns fast die Meinungsäußerungsfreiheit hier in der Schweiz unterbunden wurde, als der Präsident Xi Jinping hier in der Schweiz war. Das wollen wir uns nicht gefallen lassen. Daneben gehört Lobbying an der UNO dazu oder auch Weiterbildungsanlässe wie das Action Camp oder das Jugendparlament, welches letzten November stattgefunden hat. Als junge Tibeterin weiß man zum Teil nicht, wie man sich für sein Heimatland einsetzen soll oder was man machen kann. Man fühlt sich oftmals auch ohnmächtig. Auch mir ist das früher so gegangen. Ich fand es auch schwierig. Was kann ich da machen? Aber der VTT ist ein Ort, der ideale Ort, um mit jungen Tibeterinnen und Tibetern zusammen zu sein, um zusammen Zeit zu verbringen und auch viel, viel zu lernen. Er hat mir persönlich ein neues Zuhause gegeben und wir würden uns sehr freuen, euch auch im Verein willkommen heißen zu dürfen. Denn im Verein können sich alle gemäß ihren Interessen einsetzen, ob kulturell, sozial oder politisch. Nun wünschen wir euch ganz eine gute Diskussion, ein guter Austausch und einen schönen Nachmittag.
Tuschenang pamuda dende tatandas Sigon Chones Muschenangyu.
Falls ihr eine deutsche Übersetzung braucht, der Talk wird ja in Englisch gehalten und es wird auf Deutsch übersetzt.
Ja, geht Euro. Ja? Oh ja. Deutsch sind. Ich Lobsan. Wie heißt denn Sie? 여러분 집에 남자 되는 날 사는 날. 여러분, 내 시기면서 마이크폰 띄우고
My voice sounds much better with this microphone than this one.
I hope you're not going to sing.
I don't want to lose the audience, so I better stop. First of all, I would like to say thank you very much for you being here in Switzerland. It's a great privilege and honor to have you here in Switzerland. Thank you very much.
Thank you is not enough. Can you bring some chocolate? Yeah?
I will give you some fondue.
Fondue. 10 years old, 20 years old.
Okay, let's come to the question. Sorry. Okay, we come to the second part of the program. It's going to be a talk by Signor Lusa Singela. Enjoy.
So you're supposed to do the translation, no?
Pardon?
I speak English, you speak Deutsch, no? 그래가지고,
Dave headsets.
translate 하게도 하고. 이게 되게 걔네 지금 이렇게 되게 얇게 들어도 봐. No, we always, as per our tradition, we always start with respect to the monks. Due respect to our venerable monks here and the general audience and especially youth. Can I say my loving youth? So it's a great privilege for me to be here, even though I got up at 4 a.m. in the morning. Now it's 12 hours I've been standing or doing something. So if I sleep or doze off, you don't blame me, okay? Thank goodness I didn't eat food, otherwise I might get very sleepy by this time, you know? So I just want to say thank you. I just want to make it simple. Thank you very much. Great honor and privilege to be here and touch the lid to all of you. Are you not coming here? Oh, how will you hear the translation? Oh, you all have earphone? The translation. Do you all have earphone? If I speak in English, yeah? Last channel, we have all the earphone for translation. No? No. Earphone kaput. First of all, I want to congratulate two presidents of TYAE because they came to Dharamsala as Tibet Corps and they serve in CTA, so they are leading the charge, and I'm looking forward to seeing many of you come to Dharamsala. Are you all willing to come to Dharamsala and serve CTA? Good. And I was very impressed to see your Tibetan improve considerably. So if you come to Dharamsala, not only you get to serve CTA, your Tibetan will improve and you will feel part of you as a Tibetan. You will be very proud. And it's very important that we all must learn Tibetan because, you know, we are after all Tibetan, right? And if you don't speak your language, you will always remain a Tibetan for sure because we are, our blood and body is Tibetan. But if you say I'm Tibetan, first you must speak your language, you must know your history, you must know your culture, because two goals of our struggle is, number one, preservation of our identity and pursuit of our dignity. So unless you preserve your identity, you won't pursue your dignity. Yes? So very good. So she's an example here. By the way, when I say this, you know, that you must learn Tibetan, my Tibetan was very bad. So don't feel bad that your Tibetan is bad or you don't know Tibetan, I can't learn, I can't improve. We all can. You know, I was so full or I was so bold. Either way you take it. When I ran for election in 2011 for Sikong position, the major criticism and a valid criticism was that Lobsang Sing's Tibetan is bad. And it's true. I could not read Tibetan properly. I could not speak properly. Even historians used to joke about my Tibetan. Oh, Lobsang Singh, when he speaks Tibetan, he speaks like school kid. Because Dharamsala Tibetan, no? Oh my goodness, right? We hardly understand. We always say, when Dharamsala people speak Tibetan, it goes above your head. Yes or no? So, my Tibetan was really bad. The problem with Tibetan, I also went through a lot of struggle. So when I had to give a speech, forget about the content or the substance of the speech. I had to think whether I'll get proper term or not. Number two, whether I'll be praising myself or not. You know, sometimes I land up, for myself. That's the height of Tibet. And especially I am from Darjeeling area. And Darjeeling youth are criticized as Toro Moro people. You know, because they don't speak good Tibetan. And I shared the story. This Tibetan school in Darjeeling celebrated 50th anniversary. So I went there as guest. So a group of Tibetans, former students we met. And soon you land up speaking in Nepali. And then one Tibetan woman came and said, hey, listen. Now, Lobsang Singye has become the Pungo of Dharamsala. So we have to speak him in Tibetan. So that's what she wanted to say. But she came and said, oh, 정말 내나 Lobsang Singye Dharamsala Pungo Shayore, oh, 먼저 벽에 뭘로 벌써니. Actually, she was saying, she had to speak in Tibetan in Nepali. So that poor Tibetan. So I am from that background. So my Tibetan was poor. And if you watch my English speech on August 8th of 2011 during the inauguration, and if you watch me speaking in Tibetan, oh my goodness, it's a horror. At that time, in the presence of His Holiness, I had read my speech in Tibetan. I was sweating, oh my goodness, I was stressed out, I could barely read, and the sentence was all wrong. It was taking like 3 times longer than the English speech. So that bad. So are you all encouraged now? Sejong's Tibetan was bad. So your standard is quite good. But then, I work very hard. Now this morning you saw me giving, 2 hours in Tibetan, right? Giving speech 2 hours in Tibetan. Why? I work very hard. If tomorrow I have to give a speech, I study after my office hours, from 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. till midnight. Some at 1 a.m. I practice. I keep speaking. And slowly, the fear of speaking grammatically wrong, fear of, shesa to yourself, slowly disappeared. And formally, I could, structure a sentence. And then finally, after 7 years, I could give a speech in Tibetan without any notes. So even today, I'm doing homework. I'm studying Tibetan. So don't think it's late, okay? Agreed? Yes or no? Now if you don't study Tibetan, it's your fault. So that's what I want to say. It's never late, really, it's never late. So please, one should learn Tibetan language because we all are Tibetan after all. And I said this morning, at the end of your life, when your parents look at you, this is what happened with me also. When my late father was before passing away, and I asked him, is there anything I can do for you? At the end of his life, he said, no, only one thing. After I leave this world, I'll pray for you. You pray for me, okay? That's what he said. And all your parents will say the same thing. And you will say the same thing to your children also. Before you die, you're going to say, you pray for me, I'll pray for you. So wherever my late dad is, I know he's praying for me. But I also pray for him. I open Peja, I pray for him. So at the end of we all are mortals, right? We all die. So at that particular time, if you say, okay, Pala, I'll get some monks and pray for you, then you're outsourcing the prayer to others. Of course, you can do that. There's ritual needs to be done, they will do it. But sometimes you should pray for your dad or your mom. And you have to open your Peja. So at that particular moment, knowing, understanding Tibetan is very important. And Chinese government's sole aim is to convert Tibet into China and make Tibet into Chinese. How do they do that? By destroying our culture, our civilization. Now on the flip side, we have to be proud, really. In 1950s and 60s, as per late Panchen Lama's 70,000 character petition to Mao Zedong, 98% of monasteries and nunneries were destroyed in Tibet. 99.9% of monks and nuns were destroyed. So Mao Zedong thought they had made Tibet into China. Tibetans had become Chinese. No monasteries, no nunneries, no monks and no nuns. So in that very tragic, sad moment, His Holiness Dalai Lama had a vision to rebuild all the major monasteries destroyed in Tibet to be rebuilt in India or in exile. And brick by brick, really, when you are looking at some of the elder monks here, they literally worked hard and built all the major monasteries. And as we speak, we have 262 monasteries and nunneries in India, Nepal and Bhutan. 262. 32,000 monks and nuns, of which 57.6% are from the Himalayan region. Not only we rebuilt and revived Buddhism among exiled Tibetans, we are educating 57.6% of monks and nuns in exile are from the Himalayan region. We are giving them education. So not only we revive Buddhism among exiled Tibetans, we revive, as per His Holiness vision, Buddhism in the whole of Himalayan belt. You just go to Sikkim, Ladakh, Nepal, Bhutan, Arunachal Pradesh, up north in Himachal, in Uttarakhand, Dehradun, Buddhism is back. And Buddhist centers around the world, like Rikon Monastery here, they also give introduction to Buddhism. I was told they have courses like that. And now in Tibet, Buddhism is back. We have Larungar Monastery was destroyed, right, from 12,000 monks and nuns to 5,000 monks and nuns last year. Yashingar with 6,000 nuns is being destroyed as we speak. What it means is Tibetans have worked hard in Tibet in reviving Buddhism back in Tibet also. So in that sense, can you imagine 98% destroyed, which means we have only 2% chance of success. 99.9% monks and nuns destroyed. We have only 0.1% chance of success. But odds were really against us. But Tibetans worked very hard and rebuilt back in Tibet. Now China also happens to be the largest Buddhist country in the world. Now 300 million Chinese to 400 culturally are Buddhist. So that shows the resilience of the Tibetan people, determination of the Tibetan people, how hardworking we are. Now I'm pretty sure the Mao Zedong is rolling in his grave, thinking, what the hell happened? I destroyed Buddhism in Tibet. Now Buddhism is in China. Tibetans are so hardworking. From scratch, from 2%, we worked hard to rebuild Buddhism in Tibet. Now why it's important? Buddhism is the foundation of our civilization. And we all should be very proud. There are 14 Buddhist countries in the world, 14 Buddhist countries. 52 countries with major number of population practicing Buddhism, right? But if you go to China or Thailand or Cambodia, Laos or Burma, all these Buddhist countries, they don't have texts or pager or what Buddha taught. None of these countries have more than 24 texts, 24 volumes. None of these countries. Only in Tibetan language, we have 300 volumes, Kangyur and Tengyur. Now in this day and age, anyone who wants to know what Buddha said and his followers said, it's in Tibetan language. It's not in Chinese, not in Korean, not in Japanese, not in Thai. Even though they might be rich, they might be Buddhists, but they don't have the text. It's only in Tibetan language. So unless we preserve our language, we can't share the foundation of a civilization, foundation of Tibetan identity. So first request is to, learn your Tibetan. Agreed? Yes? Is it Swiss youth who the volume is quite low? Why we all had lunch, that's why. Number two, come to Dharamsala as a Tibet Corps, as volunteers. You love it. Now, in March, the Parliament will pass the budget. In the budget, what we have put, some special offer for you, okay? Not many youth are coming from Switzerland. So we have a special offer. Now, if you come, we provide 30,000 rupees for your airfare. So I think if you buy a ticket way ahead, you might get 50%. No? 30,000? 50%? Maybe. And then instead of 8,000 rupees as a stipend, we will increase to 12,000 to 15,000 per month. And you have a place to stay. Now what else can we do from our side? Please tell me. We are providing you half your airfare, place to stay, monthly stipend, and place to work. as contribute as a Tibetan. Now if you pay your full airfare, we worry that you will come and see your grandparents and leave, take advantage of the airfare and use that as a vacation and go back. So we want you to contribute half your airfare and make a commitment. So they will later, I think two of you should give testimony as to how you enjoyed Dharamsala, okay? We did do a little bit of propaganda here and brainwash some of the Tibetan youth, entice them to come to Dharamsala. And I say this with sincerity because I said this in 2004. I wrote a piece called Tibet 2020. What I said was by 2020, there will be equal number of Tibetans outside India, Nepal and Bhutan. And it's becoming a reality now. I went to Paris, France, 4 years ago. They had 3,000 Tibetans. Now after 4 years, they have 5,000 Tibetans. And I was just told in South India, one settlement in Belakupi, the number of Tibetan residents in Belakupi, one of the settlements, used to be 4,000. Now recently I was told, when you do actual counting, there are only 2,500 at most. So it's a fact, Tibetans are traveling and settling all over the world. And hence CTA, Tibetan administration, is the center of the Tibetan movement. And we all must embrace, take part, take ownership of Tibetan administration. If you don't take ownership, if you don't serve in CTA, if you don't become chidu, if you don't become secretaries, if you don't become ministers, colored, if you don't become representative outside, who will be? So it's up to you all. I will be born in 3 years. Now you all must come and take over. Are you all ready? Oh, Swiss, no commitment, huh? Are you all ready? Yes? Very good. So I'll retire tomorrow then. You all come and take over. On the whole, as I said this morning, the encouraging signs in the people, especially the youth, participation in Tibetan politics or Tibetan cause, the Tibetan election is increasing. In 2001, 35,000 Tibetans voted, participated in election. In 2006, it decreased a bit to 32,000. So there was 3,000 decrease in number of voters. But in 2011, it increased to 49,000. And 2016, recently, it increased to 57,000. So when I travel to European countries, just recently and earlier also, I share this story very proudly. As among the Western democracies, old democracies, the number of voters is decreasing. Registration is also decreasing, voters also and participation is decreasing. It's only Tibetan community, I think one of the few in the world, where voter registration has increased by 70% in the last 10 years. Not only that, the contribution that we make, Green Book contribution, because our system is very different. The rest of the democracies, you don't have to pay to vote. In our system, you have to pay to vote. Now still, the increase from 32,000 to 57,000 in 10 years is remarkable. What it shows is that we are participating, embracing, and taking ownership of the Tibetan movement and Tibetan cause. It's something to be very proud of. So this is a positive trend. But the negative trend is, now I was just in Denmark and Norway, now in Switzerland also, many of these countries are signing free trade agreement with China. As soon as they sign free trade agreement, they give free pass to human rights. Not just human rights, they give free pass, especially on Tibet issue. I went to, because I do meet people from inside the government, they all said the same thing. Chinese government puts a lot of conditions. But one of the foremost main condition is don't raise Tibet issue. Don't meet with His Holiness Dalai Lama. Don't host Sikong. So now how many countries are signing free trade agreement with Chinese government? Lots of them. One Belt, One Road initiative. 62 countries have already agreed to One Belt, One Road project. 62 countries. And recently the French President Macron, he went to China, he also agreed to support One Belt, One Road. Once they agree to that, they will not raise the issue of human rights in general, Tibet in particular. So there is a domino effect. One country after another, they are saying free trade with China, no human rights, and no Tibet. So hence it's upon us, the younger generation, to take responsibilities, to fight for our cause. So that's why this year we declare as actually a year of campaign. We wanted to see TYAE out in the streets of Geneva, Bern, all the capitals in Europe. We wanted to see all the youth organizing major events and minor events, different campuses, at different universities, different schools. But our year of campaign just ended. There's only 1 month left now. But we really did not see many activities actually. We saw some increase, not many. So if we keep doing like this, then obviously Chinese government will keep signing free trade agreement and they give free pass to human rights issue and issue of Tibet. And if you follow that trend, there is a risk, really there is a danger that people might forget about Tibet and Tibetan cause. Now some of you might think, oh, I am a Tibetan, I fight for my cause, how can people around the world forget about Tibet? I can give you some stories, share with you some stories. I went to the border of Ladakh. I have heard that these two nomadic groups, they celebrate His Holiness' birthday, July 6th, every year by the river. Every year they come down from the mountains, they celebrate His Holiness' birthday. You know why? Across the river is Chinese military camp. And every year they've been coming for 50+ years and celebrating His Holiness' birthday with a symbolic message or a real message. One day we will cross the river and celebrate His Holiness' birthday on the other side of the river where Tibet is. So as to pay respect, I went to meet them. If you watch a video, there is a video of me traveling a car and then there's some nomads riding on horses in Ladakh. Have you seen that footage? Just watch that, okay? You can see from the faces, from the expression, you can see they're very emotional. They're very raw feelings. And when I went there, I saw the nomads, I met them, and I had dinner with them. No fondu, but dinner with them. Yasha, okay? And then we danced. And in the evening, at night, the discussion was whether I spend night there or not. And then, interestingly, there were like several tents, white tents. And there was one yellow tent in the center. And I was supposed to sleep in that yellow tent. And then the Indian Army personnel came and told me, it's his personal request that I don't spend the night here, that I spend the night somewhere else, because across the river, it's just like 30-40 meters away, okay? The Chinese military camp was there. And I also felt it's odd that I'll be spending the night in the yellow tent, only yellow tent, as though telling the Chinese military camp, hey, Sejong is here in this tent, you know, rest of the tents were all white. I met them. And then when I talked to the Indian military personnel, then when I talked to the local Ladakhis, right at the border, okay, I was shocked and very sad. What they told me, they said across the river is what? Across the river is China. I was shocked and I was quite sad. And I said, how can you say across the river is China? I said, it's Tibet. They said, no, it's China. And I met this Ladakhi who speaks fluent Tibetan. And I said, you speak very good Tibetan. How can you say it's China? It's Tibet. He said, no, it's now China. And I told him, your grandparents are the witness to Tibet as being an independent country. You are the witness. You've been neighbors for all the centuries. How can you say it's China? He said, yeah, it's China now. These people are Chinese. See, we think there is Tibet. We think there are Tibetans. But people in the border, is China and Chinese. I met friends and diplomats from Nepal. When they talk to me, they say our northern neighbor is China. And I say, you are Nepalese. You've been our neighbors for centuries. How many songs you have, how many historical relationships we have, how many treaties we have together. And how can you say it's China? They say, yes, it's China. Northern Nepal is China. The northern border of Nepal is China. See, history, geopolitics is rewriting history. And Tibet is described as China, Tibetans are described as Chinese. So we think we are Tibetan. But go to the borders, go to Sikkim, they say the same thing. Northern border is China. Watch Indian news media, they say it's China. So we always think there is Tibet. Tibet will never disappear. For us it's true, but all the neighboring countries, all our neighbors are saying so. So there is a danger that we might be forgotten. And it's already happening. You go and open your textbook, check globes, all the maps, there is no Tibet. There is China over us. So when I go to museum, I was at museum yesterday in Paris. I went to see, Mona Lisa and her smile, which honestly, I really think is that smile is that beautiful, okay, but as I say, with due respect, I went to the museum with my daughter, and whenever I enter museums, I dread. First, I love when you see all these arts and artifacts, you love, you like. At the same time, there's a dread in me that hope we don't become a museum piece like that. Right? They describe you, right? They have some pillars and all this. Oh, this is the Roman pillar. Oh, this is Egyptian pillar. Look at this tanka. I hope one day our children won't be taken to the museum and say, oh, this is a Tibetan pillar. This is Tibetan artifact. This is Tibetan tanka. That's Tibet, but it's long gone. It's a history, piece of history. It's piece of museum. And it's happening though. There are museums where they show Tibetan artifacts nowadays. Yes or no? We are becoming museum piece. So hence for Tibetan youth, our responsibilities is more than usual. Normally Swiss citizens, Indian citizens, they study for career. But we have to study for career and for cause. So hence we have to work harder. We have to be more disciplined. We have to spend more time. That's why Tibetan youth, we must study hard and harder. Because we have dual responsibilities, both to have a career and a cause. So I urge Tibetan youth to study very hard, get good credentials, so that you can get good jobs. But at the same time, you can serve the Tibetan world, the Tibetan cause. Otherwise, really, elder generation have worked very hard. They have rebuilt monasteries. They have rebuilt CTA, Tibetan administration. Tibetan movement is alive now. But during our generation, your time, Tibet could become a museum piece. So there is a danger. China is becoming ever more powerful. They are using every trick, every strategy possible to undermine us. I was supposed to go to Europe recently. I visited some of these countries. So I had confirmed appointment with the Speaker of the Parliament. Confirmed. I landed at night. Next morning, I got a call. The appointment is cancelled. Because why? The foreign ministry of that country told the speaker not to meet with me because the Chinese embassy went to the foreign ministry complaint. Just yesterday in Paris, I had a radio interview. I had an interview with radio, one program on media. And I was waiting. I finished one interview. I was waiting for the second interview. Suddenly the journalist called and said the interview is cancelled. And they were quite friendly. He asked the journalist, why did you cancel? He said, my boss called and told him not to go. Now what to do? I was in cafeteria. I had to drink one more coffee and wait for the next appointment. This is real. Having said that, obviously, I appeared on TV5 Monde, the French television, other newspapers. There are some journalists who said, no matter what, we will have this program, we will broadcast. I testified at the European Union Human Rights Committee. You will never know wherever I was. The last minute there can be cancellation. Someone calls and someone cancels. I went. Thankfully, the chairman of the Human Rights Committee hosted me, and I testified before the Human Rights Committee. You know what he did? Later, he had a Facebook update, his personal Facebook update. And he said, today I was proud to host Sikyong at the Human Rights Committee. He told us their work to talk about and advocate human rights and democracy important. So there are people like that. He is a member of parliament in the European Union. He put his Facebook update, mentioning our name. There are some people like that. But there are others who submit under pressure and cancel. So on a daily basis, my schedule, my experience is a struggle. That's what we call as a Tibetan freedom struggle, right? Every day is a struggle. Just tomorrow I'm supposed to meet people in Bern, then in Geneva. I won't know who will cancel, who will not cancel. I don't know who will meet, not meet. I get one itinerary, it's packed, and it thins out. So this is real. And every day you have to pick up. Every day you have to go and say, okay, if I have 10 appointments, even if 9 cancels, even if there's one appointment, I'll maintain that appointment, I'll meet that person, do the best I can to convince him or her to seek the support of Tibet. That's how you have to get up every day. If you don't, they will beat you. The Communist Party of China will beat you. They will overwhelm you. Really. And this is my experience. When you take over, I hope the experience is better. Okay, no one will cancel your appointment. But that's why it's very important that we get inside the government, inside the Swiss government, inside the United Nations, inside various governments. We must take part. We must build our position inside the government and be strong for Tibet cause. If there's one person in Canadian Parliament or Australia, in the government, very helpful, one Tibetan. In the last 50, 60 years, we really have not, of course we have planned, elders advised us, but we didn't have enough youth who were educated enough, who were qualified enough, who were credentialed enough to get in the government, get in the United Nations, and do something from inside for the Tibetan cause. So that's why, as I said, you have dual responsibilities, not only to educate yourself for your career, but also for a cause. So the challenges are daunting, but one should never give up. So that's why I get up every day, I keep fighting, I keep traveling. Thank goodness, I sleep very well in the plane. And I drink lots of water, I keep myself warm, hence I don't get sick. I'm not trying to say anything. In the last 7 years, I have not cancelled even a single event because I got sick. You have to have that spirit, rugged mountain spirit, ready to fight the cause, to walk, to travel. Don't get daunted. Don't get depressed by anything, because life is a challenge. The Tibetan freedom struggle is really a struggle. Every day is a struggle. But we have to keep going. If you don't, who will? Tell me, who will? No one will. Swiss government or Swiss people will not give us our freedom on a silver platter. They will not. America will not. India will. No one will. Ultimately, we have to find our own cause. So I hope with that message, I'm trying to encourage you to be part of the movement. And don't get into this internal issue, Ranzen versus Umela, this and that, regional issue, sectarian, it's just nonsense. It's just a distraction. CTA does not discourage Ranzen. No. In fact, CTA, Department of Education, is the one who teaches all our children that historically Tibet was an independent country. In fact, CTA is the biggest advocate of Rangse. How did Tibetan children in India know Tibet was an independent country? Because we teach them in the textbook. I must say that Tibetan students who study in Tibetan school in India know the Tibetan history of being an independent country better than you all, better than most of you. Yes or no? So do you know the story? That I've met with Tibetan youth, Tibetan volunteers, Tibetan poor people, and I always ask them, I've met people who advocate Rangse, she's sitting there, they all are sitting. I am for Rangse, I had lunch with Lokar Jam, I read Giant Lugu's text, all that, right? And I said, okay, tell us the 3 great kings of Tibet, And one really college student from America, she said, oh, Songtsen Gampo, very good. The one who says, I am for Rangse, what she said, she said, Lang Dharma. Do you know Lang Dharma? How many of you know Lang Dharma? How many of you don't know Lang Dharma? Tell me. Many? And again, recently I met someone from Canada. And I said, okay, tell us 3 great kings. She said, of course I know. And she said, Ling Gyasar. Ling Gyasar has nothing to do, it's a legend, okay? So recently at the Sunday school, I went. And one student, she knew, and there was one boy and a girl, they knew who the 3 great kings were. Later I found out that they just graduated from Kirtan Lokta in Dharamsala. They just came from Dharamsala. Then when I went to New York, I spoke to youth. When you asked them who was the first president of America, oh, George Washington, they all knew. Who ended slavery system, Abraham Lincoln. The 3 great kings of Tibet, nada. Noi. You don't know. Now if you don't know 3 great kings, then how will you know 42 kings? Right, we have 42 kings. And who was the Sakya Lama who unified whole of Tibet and ruled for some time? Who? You wouldn't know. Who was among the Kagyu Lama? And how many Dalai Lamas we had? We all know 14. But which Dalai Lama took over the political leadership of Tibet? Which Dalai Lama was a Mongolian? Which Dalai Lama was Mempa or Arunachali? Which Dalai Lama introduced Kasha or the cabinet system? Now if you don't know this part of Tibetan history, what it shows is that, you have become Swiss people, Swiss citizen or Swiss national, which is not, I'm not saying again, we have nothing against that. What we are saying, you should be proud of being a Swiss citizen. You should know the constitution and the rules and regulations of Swiss. You should speak German or French or any European language. You should. You should be thankful to the government and people of Swiss. But at the same time, remain Tibetan. You must know your great kings also. You must know your history also. If you don't tell Tibetan history, who will tell? Chinese? Or European? Who will tell our history? Hence, what we advise is for you, Tibetan, to integrate, but don't assimilate. The distinction being, if you integrate, you will know Swiss history, you will know Tibetan history. But if you assimilate, you become Swiss, then you won't know anything about Tibetan laws. So that's why we say integrate but don't assimilate. So I think these are the few things I want to share, and if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer. Well, thank you for coming, and even though it's after lunch, did you all get lunch? I had lots of momo and shapale. So I'm feeling a little sleepy also. So for 13 hours now, I've been standing, and I hope I'll be able to answer some of your questions. With that note, I want to thank you for coming, and I'm looking forward to seeing many of you in Dharamsala soon. Thank you.
투신한 건데 시경 없었어요. 단지 건조기 지워 연아 쇼가는 그렇지 라요 안테인도 기세 그런지 상마야 지워 쇼가는 교회나 지워 되는지 반대 야 되게 네 지워 되지 교회 투신한
We'll start with the first question for Singular Luzon Singular. The first question is concerning the role of the Tibetan youth, and it's, what is the CTA doing to encourage and empower Tibetan youth leaders? And obviously the preservation of a culture and language is very important, but isn't political engagement not much more needed when the situation inside Tibet is getting worse while China's influence is worldwide growing?
That's true. What CTA is doing, first of all, nowadays I try. When I go to Canada, New York, when I come here, I try to meet youth, and also, my colleagues will be coming and meeting with you if you're all interested. And one thing, I have an announcement to make. In the fall of this year, maybe in October, November, most likely in October, there will be a conference, 550 Youth Conference. So we just had recently 550 Vision Conference in Dharamsala. It was quite successful. It was mainly on political issues. So really experts from around the world came. It was, 3 days event. Went off very well. Now we will have one 550 conference on development, culture, language, education, and another one 550 youth conference. So it will be in the fall. So now you ask the question, what is CTA doing for the youth for political participation? We are organizing 550 youth conference, and there also we are being part of your airfare, okay? Because normally whenever I say you should come to Dharamsala, they always say, who will pay my airfare? Well, your parents should be paying, but we are paying part of your airfare. So please come. How many of you would like to come? Please raise your hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. From 300, only 13? So you all should come and see Dharamsala for yourself, exchange. This is also that, 550 political conference was to brainstorm and strategize for 5 years and 50 years, for short term and long term. Similarly, 550 Youth is also part of the process where we want to get input from you. What CTA should do, what you can do to make youth the strength of the Tibetan movement. So please come. Are you all ready to come? Yes, thank you very much. So I'll say now the youth registration needs to stop because the Swiss youth will dominate the participation in 550 conference in October. Thank you. Dankeschön.
Thank you. And the second question is concerning the situation in Tibet. It's ever since you took office in 2011, what were the achievements of the CTA regarding the deteriorating situation in Tibet? And what concrete measures do you plan to implement in order to restore the dialogue with China as part of the Middle Way policy? And how do you assess our chance to improve the situation in Tibet?
Now first, the situation in Tibet, right? Freedom House, based in Washington, based in America, comes up with an annual report listing Freedom Index. 3 years ago, they listed, and this year also they have listed in the Freedom House Index, Tibet is the least free region in the whole world after Syria. Now we all know how bad the human rights situation in Syria is, right? Now how many of you know that Tibet is the second least free? Now we don't know that much. Then how many people in the world knows that the least free region in the whole world after Syria is Tibet? Right? You read about Syria almost every week, yes or no? You watch about Syria almost every week, yes or no? But how many of us have watched about Tibet in the last 1 month? In the 2 months, 3 months? We are the second least free region in the whole world. Now, Reporters Without Borders is an organization of journalists. Based on interviews of journalists in Beijing, what they have said is, for journalists, it's more difficult to get access to Tibet than North Korea. We all read about North Korea, right, every week. Now journalists are saying it's more difficult to go to Tibet than North Korea. They can go to North Korea, but they cannot go to Tibet. See how bad the situation is. And if we don't do something about it, we will be the least free, least accessible place in the whole world, and no one will know because we don't magnify the voices of Tibetans in Tibet. 151 Tibetans burned themselves, committed self-immolation. Just last year, 6 or 7, right? 151. You know, there was one self-immolation in Tunisia. One self-immolation. And it changed history of Tunisia. Democratic movement happened after that. And we have 151. So if we don't take responsibilities, if we don't speak for our cause, for our people in Tibet, who will? And we will always remain the least free. We will always remain the least accessible. We will always have self-immolation. And no one will care. They keep signing free trade agreement, and they give free pass to human rights. They won't talk about us. So my job and our job, CTA job, is to highlight this through movies, through documentaries, through publication, by visiting and testifying and speaking in different places. You know, when first self-immolation started, there was one in 2009. March 16th of 2011 was the second self-immolation. Okay, March 16th of 2011. Now today we are entering 2018. In the last 7 years, 150 self-immolation happened. Initially, the Chinese government labeled us, His Holiness the Dalai Lama is responsible for self-immolation in Tibet. CTA is responsible for self-immolation in Tibet. They wanted to dominate the narrative. They wanted to blame us. Fortunately, we fought back. We traveled, we spoke, we published. Fortunately now, if you read the statement of US State Department or the Human Rights Watch report, almost all the human rights organizations and various countries around the world say that Chinese government hardline policies are responsible for self-immolation, not CTA. We have flipped the narrative. Otherwise, China, all his might, wanted to blame us, wanted to make us responsible. So on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, we fight, we challenge the propaganda. And by the way, CTA has been quite successful in changing the narrative and blaming China for all the self-immolation. So yes, we are doing the best we can. The situation in Tibet remains very serious. And CTA is trying. That's why if you look at the Department of Information and International Relations, we have news bulletin not just in Tibetan before. Before we used to have only Tibetan language. Now we have in English also, we have in Chinese also. How many of you watched Tibet this week in English? Please raise your hands. Tibet TV, how many of you watch Tibet TV? Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, Many elders, so they are watching Tibetan language. How many of you youth watch in English, Tibet TV in English? Ein, zwei, drei, vier, in English. Vedic. Not good, not good. Only 4. And if you should come to Dharamsala, Department of Information and International Relations, the staff members. Every Friday they work hard. Office hour ends at 5 p.m. You see them working till 10 p.m., 11 p.m., 12 p.m. to upload the video of Tibet This Week in English, in Chinese and Tibetan. You know who watches Tibet TV? You know? More non-Tibetans, more foreigners watch Tibet TV than Tibetans. Because we have a data. And then now you're saying, what is CTA doing for human rights situation in Tibet? The issue is, how many of you are doing for human rights situation in Tibet? If you don't even watch Tibet TV, if you don't even understand what's going on in Tibet, how can you speak for the Tibetan cause? So will you all agree to watch Tibet TV in English? It's broadcast every Friday. You can watch Saturday, Sundays, holiday, right? Every Saturday morning you should watch Tibet TV in English. It's just 10 minutes. If you cannot dedicate it 10 minutes a week, that's 24 hours into 7. Right? 7 4 is 28, 7 2 is 14. From 168 hours, if you cannot dedicate 10 minutes a week, it shows our commitment for the cause. And we publish Tibet.net, newsintibet.net every day. You know how many viewers we had this year? 6 million viewers on Tibet.net. And 6 million viewers also for Tibet TV. But of which 99% seems to be foreigners, non-Tibetans. Yeah. Yeah. Aktung.
Yeah. Thank you so much for your answer. We have so many questions. So I would like to request you to keep the answer short.
Oh, don't ask me long questions then, you know.
Okay, I'm sorry for that.
Yeah.
So
I must follow Swiss clock.
Yeah, so we have like so many questions, so that's why. Yeah. So last year was announced that the year of Campion. So what did the CTA do to support this initiative?
Which initiative?
The year of Campion.
Year of campaign.
Yes.
What has CTA done?
Yeah, so CTA.
Why has CTA done? Tell me, what have you done?
So has there been any financial support from the CTA?
Financial?
Financial support or anything to support this campaign?
The year of campaign, yes. For example, this March 10th rally here, we had March 10th rally in New York. But actually, the year of campaign came about, you know. TYAE and youth organizations and Tibet support groups should know this. How this year of campaign came about. Initially, there was some confusion and complaint against CTA. CTA said in 2004-05, conducive environment should be maintained. Because CTA said that, many Tibet support groups, many youth and many organizations could not organize protests and rallies. There was confusion. So to remove the confusion, CTA should explain to the general public and the youth and activists that you can go ahead and organize things. So I said that in the parliament, I wrote speeches, I met Tibet support group and told them you can organize things. They said, no, this is not enough. Tibet people need the clarification. So I said, okay, we will declare 2017 as the year of campaign. And I want to see all the Tibet support groups Tibetan youth group, the student group, everybody out in the streets, because you've been saying all these years, it's CTA which is preventing us from going out in the street. Oh, there's confusion. I said, no more confusion. Year of campaign, go do it. CTA launched the campaign, year of campaign, for organizations, for TYAE, for SFT, for TYC, for all the Tibetan support groups. Now, it looks like we have to do campaign also ourselves, you know. So, and then yes, the financial contribution, we all are doing it. Okay.
Thank you. So this is a bit too long, so bear with me. So last November we convened...
Then I must say, you should also ask me short questions, yeah, if you want short answers, yeah.
Yeah, so last November we convened the 5th European Tibetan Youth Platform with more than 70 participants from all over Europe. In the Youth Parliament session we adopted resolutions about the topics Tibetan movement, Tibetan society, Tibetan identity and Tibetan democracy. So regarding the Tibetan democratic process, we highlighted the importance of everyone's political participation. What kind of measures is CTA taking in order to improve the possibilities of active participation? What kind of reforms do you plan to implement as Sikyong? We are skeptical about the secularization problem and that monks and nuns have 2 votes, which is not in line with democratic values. So lastly, in order to make informed decisions, political education is needed. Are there any curricula on that specifically? What's your opinion regarding the Tibetan media outlets? Since media has the important task of informing all citizens, it is considered as the 4th pillar in a democratic system. Are there any plans of improving the quality or diversity of the Tibetan media landscape? Thank you.
Oh, that's a long question. It'll take 1 whole hour.
Okay, sorry for that.
Yeah. The Tibetan movement, Tibetan democracy, as far as reforms are concerned, is done by the parliament. So if you have any reforms, you must submit to the parliament and they will take it up. And that's where the reform, they make laws. We execute, we are in the executive, we execute. Now monks and nuns having 2 votes has been an ongoing debate, you know. From time to time, you can have review, you can vote, but it's not an exception. There are some countries where they have 2 votes, you know, so people can vote twice. You know, this is an ongoing debate. Tibetan media, 4th pillar, very important. They are independent. No one controls them. I think I would say there's already diversity. If you open Facebook account or Instagram or Snapchat, I mean, how many criticisms you read about me on a daily basis? Tell me, very honestly. At least once a day? Yes or no? Yes or no? See, I'm sure some of them are here in this room also who say, oh, tonight I'm going to comment this and that, criticize Sikyong. You all are free to criticize me, okay? I always say this. This morning also I said in Tibetan, I thank all the people who are my critiques. Really? At least they are participating. At least they are criticizing me. That means they are passionate. They are angry at me. But I'm not to be angry, okay? I'm not that bad. But you have right to be angry. You have right to criticize me. Right? I always criticize those who don't participate. Those who are lukewarm, you know, neither cold nor hot. Right? Those who don't take participation in, you know, youth activities or student activities or political activities, they are wrong. Now those who support me and write positive comments, yeah, I thank them from my heart, you know. So I thank my critic, but those who support me, I thank them from my heart. That's the difference. One has heart, one doesn't have heart, yeah. So I think Tibetan media is growing and it's getting diversified. And then, you know, it should mature. And as far as I'm concerned, my job as a Sikyong is to see that the Tibetan movement, the freedom of speech that we have, you know, grows more mature and grows more sophisticated. At the moment, sometimes when you read these comments, the civility is lagging. No? Some comments are so harsh, so uncivilized. right? There's a direct translation of curse word from English in Tibetan style, no? That's bad. And some people call me, oh my goodness, I read this. Some people call me worse than Saddam Hussein, Osama bin Laden. Okay, I might be bad, but I'm not as bad as Saddam Hussein, okay? But you know, it's going on. But what we always say is, leave alone His Holiness Dalai. Leave alone. Rest, I think, you know, we can afford to criticize and receive criticism. But still, you know, we should grow. But civility has to be maintained. Respect has to be maintained.
Thank you. So this question is a bit different. So we demand a society which is inclusive of our diversity and doesn't discriminate people based on their gender and sexual orientation. We think much needs to be done to raise awareness about LGBT and increase tolerance and respect in our society, especially in the field of gender equality. We are really concerned. For instance, we think it is not comply with the 21st century society that there is no female column in the cabinet you have chosen, and there is also no visible female leader in CTA. So we noticed that there are some efforts such as the Women Empowerment Conference, but there were only male guest speakers. Do you have any concrete measures you're going to take in order to tackle the deep-rooted inequality?
Yeah. In Prison Kashak, there is no female colonel or female minister, except I tried to nominate one and did not succeed. So I did try. Now you can say all this, no women secretaries, no high-level bureaucrats, but you know how CTA and the bureaucracy works is based on seniority. You have to join CTA and serve for 20 years, then you become secretary. A woman staff member, CTA member, if they don't stay for 20 years, they don't become secretary because it's a seniority basis. Your promotion is based on seniority, right? And then, very good example, you said there was a Women Empowerment Conference. All the people who were sitting on stage were male. It's true. But the misunderstanding is, all these male came to support women empowerment. Now they are blamed for sitting on stage. If the speaker is male, the Chief Justice is male, Auditor General is male, all the colleagues, we came to sit on the stage to support women empowerment. We came to show our support. Instead of people watching from afar, they started commenting, oh look at all these males, get rid of them. And you know, our male colleagues, they were quite hurt, huh? My goodness, we went to show support. And we are criticized for sitting on stage. Sometimes perception can be deceptive. So they all came to support. Anyway, Lord, we all need to do more. As I always say, I'm a father of a daughter, you know, and I want to see my daughter grow where there is no glass ceiling for women and girls. So we are doing the best we can. So we came out with the Women Empowerment Policy. We came out with the first National Conference of Women Leaders. First time. And the conclusion of the whole effort is that, oh, there are more males sitting on stage than women. And all the males said, my goodness, we went to support, next time we will not go. Because what they're saying is all three pillars of democracy are coming, they came there to support for women empowerment. So a lot needs to be done. And if you want to see female secretaries, you join CTA, stay in CTA for 20 years, you will get promotion, you become secretary. No one will parachute. But as far as the woman colonel is concerned, I still feel, you know, in my remaining 3.5 years, I should have woman colonel. I want to appoint. Yeah? But you all must come and join first. If you don't stay, if you don't have experience, if you become woman colonel, it's not that easy. Yeah? If you don't speak, read and write Tibetan, you know, you can't handle Dharamsala. If you don't come and work in Dharamsala for a few years, if you don't understand Dharamsala, you can't handle Dharamsala. And it's everywhere. You go to Bern, if you don't understand Swiss politics, you can't handle Swiss politics. If you go to Washington DC and understand Washington DC, you can't handle Washington DC politics. You know, it's the same thing in Dharamsala. So unless you come and work and experience, unless you understand the inner workings of Dharamsala, you can't handle it. So even if I appoint a woman color, she might not be able to handle it. And I have seen some people getting in trouble because they don't understand how to handle it. Okay? So come to Dharamsala, walk through the ladder, and all of you will be woman color, woman secretaries, woman twincher. You don't have to take steps and work hard. Like me improving my Tibetan. Even now, I improve my Tibetan. I study till midnight. We all have to work hard.
The next question is, what is the most difficult task you've you faced while being Sikyong? And after 3 years, are you still going to work in Tibetan community? What I mean is in Dharamsala. And what was the highlight of being Sikyong so far? And finally, after termination of next 5 years Sikyong, what is your plan?
My goodness, you all told me to give short answers. You asked me I can write a whole book on that. How was your highlight of your Sikyong, and whether you're going to stay in Dharamsala or not. But okay, I'll answer. What is the most challenging, right? What's the most challenging part of being Sikyong? Yeah? What's the most challenging part of Sikyong? That's one question.
The most difficult part and your highlight.
Of course, there are many. There are many. From my Tibetan, from Shesa, to understanding Dharamsala's rules and regulations. There are many. But I'm not the complaining types. Really, I always take challenge as it comes. I normally don't complain. And the most challenging part obviously is the travel. You have to get up at 4 a.m., leave Paris, come here, then you have to go to Delhi, then you have to go someplace. Travel, I think, is physically tiring. Other than that, yeah, everything is a challenge. Everything is difficult. It's how you perceive. You can say my Tibetan is bad, people laugh at me, people make fun of me. They did. But hey, I said I'll work hard, I'll improve my Tibetan, I keep working hard, and you do. And initially they said, I don't understand rules and regulations of Dharamsala. Lobsang saying it will crumble under the weight of Dharamsala rules and regulations. It's very complicated. But I work hard. You can master rules and regulations, administration, bureaucracy, everything you can handle. So a lot of challenges. Then travel is the physically most challenging. My highlight, this morning I spoke for 2 hours what I did, what I did not do. But my biggest, kind of pride is the political participation. As I said, from 2006 to 2016, there's 70% increase in voter registration and election. I'm not solely responsible for it, okay? I'm not taking the whole credit, but I was part of the process. Tibetan youth getting engaged, that also I see exciting. Before 2011, I used to, at least I knew in America, whenever there was a Tibetan meeting, elders used to come. Youth did not participate. Many Tibetans did not participate. Now, auditoriums are packed. The politics has become passion. Really, politics has become new passion nowadays. So, which is a good thing. But if you're on the receiving side, it's not so good. I get criticized every day, right? That's part of the process. So now politics has become new passion. So many people say, oh, before I didn't know much about Tibetan politics, now I know. So I've been part of the process and I have made some contribution. So that I can say is highlight. Now whether I'll stay in Dharamsala or not, I think I have slept 3.5 years exercise, right? Wait for some excitement, yeah? No? If I make all the announcement now, there will be no excitement. So at least wait for my travel. Part of my future will be determined by my daughter. Because she is 11 years old. Where she wants to study, what she wants to do. I have to be a good father also, no? But I will be part of the Tibetan movement, Tibetan freedom struggle, no matter what, till I die.
The next question is, you explained many times that as long as the different organizations are working towards a Tibetan freedom movement without insulting or criticizing His Holiness the Dalai Lama, you would welcome their efforts. However, do you think that there is a genuine coexistence of Umelam and Rangzen approach? Do you have any advice to strengthen the bond, solidarity and cooperation within the Tibetan society?
Now, as far as Umelam and Rangzen, I already explained. Those who advocate Rangzen, CTA does not prevent you or forbid you from doing anything. Whatever you want to do, you can do. Kasha has issued a directive saying as long as you organize events, even protests, as long as it's legal, peaceful and dignified, it has to be legal, it has to be peaceful, right? And it has to be dignified. Then you can do anything, you can organize anything. Only thing that we say is don't use Rangzen as an excuse to criticize His Holiness Dalai Lama. Leave His Holiness Dalai Lama alone. Okay? Then you do whatever you want. No one will criticize you. I myself being a Tibetan Youth Congress member, I went on all the way to the national level. So I feel for you. Anyone who wants to organize any event, you should go ahead and do it. So Rangzen Umelam is just an, creation. Some people use Umelam to criticize Rangzen. That's wrong. We should follow what we want to follow, but CTA is for Umelam, is for middle way approach, which we think is the right thing, which we think is the rational thing to do, which is based on reality and what we pursue is Umelam. Okay? So this, creation, division, there is no division.
Thank you. And before I come... So it's going to be the last question.
Oh, no. You can do. How many questions do you have?
It's going to be an extra long question.
Huh?
Tibetan exile.
I think he is good. He deserves Pundu tonight.
Tibetan exile politics obviously take place far away from the reality inside Tibet. Can we expect the CTA to talk about the real issues without engaging in ideologist fights? Can we expect...
Without engaging in... I'll come there. Huh? Without engaging in what? Ideologists?
I can't really read the handwriting.
I should read it myself. Let's read it together, yeah. Can we expect CTA to talk about real issues without engaging in ideological fight? Yeah, why not? If you raise ideological issue, we give you ideological answer. Generally, as I said, CTA has made an announcement. You organize anything. I really don't see organizations and you doing things. You just do it. Peaceful, legal and dignified. That's all we ask for. Right? If anyone stops, you come to me. Okay? We always give excuse. Oh, Tibetans are too ideological, Tibetans are too conservative, or I want to do something, my pala, amla, amla, ashanda said, don't do it. These are all excuses. When I was young, I'm not trying to boast, okay? When I was in Delhi University, I used to go to Chinese embassy so many times. The police officer of the police station of Chanakyapuri knew me personally. Oh, log sang, aaj bhi aa gaya? Haan, Sharma ji, aaj bhi aa gaya. I have been to prison so many times. I have been to Tihar jail, the national prison. Maybe I should not say this, I've done things, a few things that landed in the national jail for 1 week. Yeah. I should not say this, but trying to burn down Chinese embassy. I'm telling you not to do it. That's why I said legal, peaceful, dignified. Okay, that's the directive. I've done that. Nowadays, I really don't see you doing things. They are very active on Facebook. Oh, Communist China, get lost, free Tibet. Oh, Rangzen. You're not moving anything, you're just moving your fingers. Walk in the streets. Get sunburns, shout, scream, lose your voice. That's where the fun is. Yeah. Good? Really? Recently I was given an award, alumni award by Hansraj College. I went to accept and I said, I really don't deserve this award. because they were laughing at me, you know. They just thought I'm being humble. I said, I really don't deserve this, because my attendance at Hansraj College, when I was in college, first year was 57%, something 50-some%. Then it decreased to 40%, then it 30%. Third year, principal called me and said, you can't go sit for exam because you don't have enough attendance. And this time when I received the award, I saw my former principal and my professors, and I told them, I really don't deserve this award because I hardly came to college. My attendance was less. But if you calculate, if you add my attendance outside Chinese embassy and Chanakya-Puri police station and my attendance class is 100%. So I was spending more time outside embassy. That's what I did. So when we organize today, you know, youth is organizing in this air-conditioned room, right? When we used to organize rallies in Delhi, Mazhuga Tila, so 2 or 3 youth, we used to go and, you know, borrow tent from Mazhuga Tila camp. And we used to put 100, 200 chairs. We used to put everything ourselves. It's 45 degrees Celsius. You are sweating. And you put all the tents in chair, and when the audience come, you go take a shower, wear something nice, and you come give a speech. You should go to Chinese embassy, all that, right? When audience leave, again you have to put down the tent, and you have to take all the chairs inside. Yeah. Now here today, you all are organized, a talk here, air-conditioned room, rent is paid by someone else, everything is prepared, not us. We used to do everything ourselves. That's why even as a Sikong now, my organizational capacity, my strategic planning at a grassroots to the top level is quite good. Why? Because I was trained like that. You do everything yourself. Are you all doing like that? So, there's no ideology discussion, okay, this is conservative, this is ideological. You do what you want, and it's all right. So don't constrain yourself, don't give excuses like this. No one is preventing you from doing anything. Yes. Can we expect a return to truth and facts? Oh yes, absolutely. Whatever that means, yeah. Next question.
Well,
so you finished all the questions?
We're finished with the questions, yes.
Yeah.
We had a lot of more questions there, but because of time management, we need to cut the rope here. I would like to thank you, Sikyo.
Come here, thank me. Like coming close, yes. You should thank me in person. You also come here, yes. Okay, now thank you. And yes, okay. How you want to thank me?
Thank you so much. Okay. On behalf of Tinsleche and myself, we would like to thank you very much for being here, being so composed and answering all the questions we ask you. And I would now like to call up Tinde to the stage, and she will thank you even more than I did.
Yeah. How? Hodu? No hodu?
I don't know.
Chocolate? Fish chocolate? No? Luciana. No, they came to, come here, the Tibet War volunteers here, they came to Dharamsala and they work for DIR, no? Yes. How many? TPI, oh that's Tibet Policy Institute Research, and you work for DIR. And they spent good months, and we had few dinners, few meals. One? Only one? Oh. No wonder this time you're not treating me dinner, yeah. Next time I'll treat you 3 times, okay? So they came, so you all should come. Next, you too will come, right? Almost first, I can't forget one.
지금 저희 디저트 나 제작 러닝 타고는 투지체랑 안데 고리 쪽과 유럽 신호 된소다 스위스다 리echtenstein 기 베메만 쪽원이라 데 고리 남제 투지체나 시기 Antaring dos chanterim dijuk bibai.
Kuchana. Kuchana. And oh, by the way, I was told, the Reformed Monastery, Gobala, they have Introduction to Buddhism in Tibetan language workshop course. Here is this one's on. Those who can't come to India, come, but you can start by going to Reformed Monastery and participate in the courses. Okay? Now, Dankeschön.